And how about the other side of male life? What could your social events look like if you put in the work right now and you become this like high value man when you're older? Well, you've got money. So suddenly, let's say you want to get into partying and you want to like, be around hot girls, okay? Well, the parties and hot girls of before in like, high school and college, of that like sort of dirty random room where people are there with like Coca-Cola bottles everywhere, that turns into like an upscale bar. And the women who are there are much, much more higher quality and also more gorgeous than those little girls that are students. And also the men that you meet in these areas, they're dressed up nice because it's a clean environment compared to like that sort of sticky, dark floor environments. And so you're meeting these guys who are dressed nice, who are sophisticated, who are business owners. And so imagine like that as your night out experience, where it's 9, 10 p.m. If you do drink, you're drinking a little bit, you brought like a gorgeous girl for like a date with you. And there's a guy there who actually has a business who does 100K a month, and you're fascinated by what he does for his business. He's asking you questions. You're there flirting with this really high quality, really attractive woman, and you feel like a gentleman. You almost feel like James Bond. Now compare that to you being there awkwardly in like some little student house party whilst all of the people there are smelling their keys because they're putting the key inside of the bag of drugs and smelling it. You're there holding up your glass, feeling awkward next to these full-on degenerates that your mother would be ashamed of that you were spending time with. You can see the night and day difference. And it's more fun to be around people who aren't complete losers. There's the loser who plays video games, but when it comes to like this sort of party lifestyle, there's people who are far below the video game porn addicts. These like guys who go out to a bunch of parties and take hard drugs 2-3 times a week, they are literally like goblins of the night. I'm digging into this point because I have been a goblin of the night before. If you saw some of the pictures of me when I was in university and I was in these student like flat parties, I was living like a lot of men's dream. I had a popping social life. I was taking a lot of drugs. I was fucking a lot of girls, and it was all disgusting. When you're actually experiencing it, you realize how sad and how like low quality this and unclean this entire environment is. This isn't to say that you can't party, you can't drink, you can't be around women. Do it, but do it in the higher quality one that you've got to work harder for. Naturally, because you have to work harder for it, that means other guys have to work harder for it, which means that when you go to the higher quality, more expensive parties when you're older, the guys there you actually want to speak to. You go into the fancy restaurants or whatever diet is like best for you. Imagine going to like a fancy restaurant where there's a chef who's got 10, 20 years of experience and he's cooking like the highest quality, like meat or whatever it is that you like. And that's where you're taking this date to. That's where you and a group of your like business men friends are all there, like, talking about business, talking about like whatever, you find interesting. And you go into these fancy restaurants. If you compare that to the social events that are available to you now, which is like maybe ordering some food over from a takeaway or driving to McDonald's, the difference is huge. Now, saying all this, it reminds me of being in like high school and college. And there was definitely some fun times when, we would leave college. We had like a little free period, and one of my friends had a car. So we'd get in the car, we'd listen to music, and we'd drive to McDonald's and get a milkshake or something fine. Definitely, you can do a little bit of that stuff. But if you do a lot of this kind of low level social events that you can do right now, it can really distract you from working hard enough to get those higher level ones when you're older. So it's like you can go and do the little wholesome thing of, spending some time with your friends who are your age right now. Maybe, you want to hop on the video game or something. But many men can't control how long they do it. They don't have the discipline to sort of keep this at a really healthy level. A lot of guys cope and they say like, oh, but what if it's just half an hour a day? What if it's just 1 hour a day? That's a cope because it never is. It never is one party a week. It never is like one joint per day for the weed smokers. It never is like one takeaway a week for the fat guys. It never is 1 hour of video games a day for the nerds. It never is. That's what we all cope with and say like, oh, I'll have a cheat meal once a week. I'll spend, time with my degenerate friends once a week. I'll play video games for half an hour a day. It never is that little amount because these drugs, video games, junk food, sugar, actual drugs, they are very hard to control. This is why most video gamers that are trying to, get onto self-improvement, they're very good at coping, and they'll always say like they'll use extremes and be like, oh, but Hamza says it's not fine to play just half an hour a day or 10 minutes a day. Yes, because you don't play 10 minutes a day. No video gamer plays 10 minutes a day. You think it's going to be 10 minutes. It takes you 10 minutes to even like load up the game and get your friends inside of like the little clan or group or whatever. Included in the other side of male life is that you can go and travel. Like any country is open to you. So if you work hard right now and you don't really engage and are wasting time with like, the social life that you can have right now, you make enough money, you open up the world to yourself, and you can go like with your friends, with your girl to any country that you want. So if you want to go and take your girl on a random spontaneous date to Santorini in Greece, like a really romantic location, you can do, and that's like your social experience for a few days. If you want to come and travel and come to Bali or Thailand and ride around on the scooters and enjoy the food here and go to the cafes and pretend to work on your laptop, you can, and you can bring your friends here, and you can go with a group of your friends. You can go with your girl. You can meet people here. You can go to parties here. You can like live a better life if you've delayed gratification for that.